Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Hey, man. Yeah. See, you got to love the bunker cam, right? You got to love the bunker cam because you can see what I'm doing now. I'm texting. That's why I'm late. How you doing? Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man, today's Tuesday, May 16th, 135 days into the new year, just 230 days left. We are live from a bunker right here in downtown Burbank, California. And I want to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KTRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? Big Tuesday to you. Great night tonight on the show. Yes, we have Corey Goode is going to be here. A very special broadcast and conversation for unity in the community. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. We've got a couple of big announcements that we're going to do. Very excited about that. And I'll leave that to Corey. Tomorrow night is a special Fader night. That's right. We're going to do it tomorrow night with a few drive-bys from our friends stopping by tomorrow night. It's going to be a great night, so get ready for that. Thursday night, we're taking off because we're going to be hanging out with all of you Fadernauts at the Joshua Tree Saloon in Joshua Tree, California, getting ready for Contact in the Desert. All right? Ah, man, let's get this show going. Follow me right now on Twitter, at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do, at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Hashtag F2BQ is the questions. Any questions or comments during the show tonight, just post them right there. You can also email throughout the show, Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. Simple enough. You remember email, don't you? Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. And I announced this last night, but I want to do it again tonight because it's so very, very, very cool. Peter Lavenda will be at Contact in the Desert. Jim Mars is having some health issues, and our thoughts are with him. I did place a call to Jim tonight. I'm going to see if we can get him tomorrow to do a little drive-by on Fader night to say hello to everybody and see how he's feeling. But Peter stepped in and stepped up to fill some very big shoes, and he's going to, slide into Jim's speaking times there at Contact in the Desert and do some presentations and also sit in with me on our panel. Okay? So there you go. Peter Lavenda is going to be at Contact in the Desert. Really, really looking forward to that. And so I want to remind everybody a couple of things before we get to the show. Subscribe to our podcast. The podcast and the membership area are two separate things. Two separate. They're separate. They're not the same. Separate. We have our podcast with our podcast partner, Libsyn. Yes, we have apps and everything. That's the podcast, and that includes the commercials. It's just a replay of the show. I'm going to show everybody. Just got a text from Corey. Corey, you are too funny, man. I'm just going to do this right now. I just want to say, there you go. There you go. I just gave Corey a hard time for not following me. He just followed me. There you go. All right. Where am I? Okay, so the podcast and the membership are two different things. Podcast, it's $2 a month. You get commercials. It's a replay of the show tonight, which gets uploaded immediately after the show. And then there you go. So it's a podcast of the show. It's called a podcast. In our membership area, we have downloads. And the downloads, which is not a podcast, the downloads are downloads. commercial-free, edited, and everything for you because you're a member, so you get to listen to the shows commercial-free. You download those shows. We don't have an app. It's not a podcast. Podcast is a whole nother animal. We allow you, as members, access to our audio files, commercial-free, that you can download. So you can download them onto your phone, your iPad, your a USB drive, pop it in your car, computer. You don't have to worry about internet time or being. That's what that is for. Two separate things. Separate things. Will we develop an app for the membership area? Difficult to do. But we are talking to some app designers to handle that. But it's a very difficult thing. It sounds easy, and it's just not. So we are looking into that. But in the meantime, just downloading the files. It's that simple. Getting more text. All right, so there you go. Go to our membership area. When you become a member and you become a Fade or Not, each month you get a bunch of different things. And one of the things that is really cool is we have a drawing every single month. A couple of months ago, we gave it away Tascam digital recorder. Last month, we gave away, did a drawing for a Studio Dome stereo system, a Bluetooth stereo system. This month, we're doing a coffee bar. Right, with Fade to Black blend, courtesy of River Moon Coffee, with all the hardware and software that you need for that perfect cup of coffee. That's what we're doing this month. So go to our membership area, register up, make it happen, get it done. All right? It's that simple. Check out all of our sponsors, by the way, which Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com, River Moon Coffee, Studio Dome Speakers. Next month, we're going to be doing a Life Change Tea drawing, right, with the package from Life Change Tea. So there you go. Become a member and support the show through all of our sponsors. As we have been announcing for the last couple of months, we do it every night on the show because it is the biggest event of the year, certainly for UFOs and ufology and conspiracy, is Contact in the Desert. It is this weekend, kicks off Friday, May 19th through the 22nd in Joshua Tree, California. Go to contactinthedesert.com, look at the schedule. You will flip out. Look at the schedule and look how it is laid out. You can see, if you don't want to see, somebody is speaking every minute of the day, all day, and all night long. So there is something going on for 3 straight days. Actually, 4. It goes into Monday. So go there now and check out the schedule. It's absolutely incredible. Yes, we're doing 3 events. We're going to broadcast Friday night. Saturday, I'll be hosting a panel, the Forbidden Archaeology panel. Saturday, I'm going to host the Disclosure panel on Sunday night. Those are both in the amphitheater at 7 p.m. So go. It is the biggest event of the year. River Moon Coffee is going to be there. They're going to have a booth serving Fade to Black blend. We're going to have our little things that we're going to be doing all weekend. We've got some special T-shirts that we printed up. Oh, I didn't bring the T-shirts to the bunker. Oh, all right. I'll have them tomorrow night on the show. I forgot. They are not in the bunker. I forgot. Anyway, the T-shirts look amazing. And there you go. Okay. That's that. Next up, Fade to Black will be up at I Will and Rita will be going to the ECETI Ranch for their July 4th conference. It's called the Science Spirit and World Transformation Conference. Tickets and info over at ECETI.org. Now, right now, for you Fadernauts, use the promo code Fade to Black with the number 2 in it. Well, I'm sure it's up here in Twitter already. I'm looking at it here. There it is. Thank you. Let me retweet. Okay, ECETI Ranch. The promo code is Fade to the number 2 Black. You're going to get 10% off of the link. Okay, so that link is coming up now, and Rita's just tweeted it. There you go. And you know what? I'm going to do this in real time. Promo code, you got to love this. Promo code Fade to Black. There you go. All right. I just tweeted it out. I'll do something a little bit more complete later. But there you go. Okay, so we're going to be up there. All of the speakers are listed. I am going to be speaking twice. I'm going to probably, goof around and MC if they'll let me. It's hard for me to resist a stage and a microphone. But it's the events at night with James Gilliland, night vision, and just watching. Also, Bigfoot. There's interdimensional things that I cannot wait to get to ECETI. It is a bucket list situation for myself and Rita. And please come and join us up at ECETI Ranch. Okay, so we've got the links up. Go and check it out. Very exciting. And now we just confirmed something else. I will wait for Corey to come on the show. We will announce that in just a bit, too, as well. With that, let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to Pierce Brosnan. Yeah. Today, he's 64. And, yeah, I love me some Pierce Brosnan. Dude is out of his mind. What was the name? Where he was the serial killer. What was that thing called? That was a good movie. Danny Trejo, our neighbor, is 73 years old. Can you believe it? He's got Trejo's Tacos now in Hollywood. And rumor has it, I hear about it all the time, supposed to be the best tacos in L.A., and I don't doubt it. Danny Trejo, the machete, today is 73. Also, Krist Novoselic today is 52. On this day in history, 1929, it was the first Academy Awards ceremony, but they did it at a dinner party for about 250 people at the Roosevelt Hotel in Hollywood, California, on this day in 1929. Also, Fader Fact. You ready? Are you writing this down? Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Are you ready? A group of flamingos is called a flamboyance. I bet you didn't know that, did you? There you go. Our little puppy that we just got, Teddy, he's got 2 sets of flamingo legs on a puppy body. He looks like one of those Star Walker things in Star Wars. Dude's legs are like 3 feet long, and he's only this big. He's a couple of pounds, and his feet are a foot. His legs are. He's a freak of nature, that Teddy. All right, tonight our guest is Corey Goode. He's here. We're gonna have a very open-ended conversation tonight about unity in the community. Tomorrow night, Fader night. Thursday night, we're taking off. Friday night, we'll be broadcasting live from Contact in the Desert. All right. Now, today is a special day for us. Today, 7 years ago, today, on May 16th, 2010, Ronnie James Dio left this earth. And yes, he was a friend, and there's that part of it. Last year, I listened to Ronnie Dio all day long on May 16th in the bunker, and it kind of bummed me out. I had it cranked, man. You got to listen to that stuff loud. But I didn't do that today. But his music, his bands, his voice were the greatest. There's no question about it. Seriously, Ronnie, here's to you, brother. Now, I want to say this about Ronnie. And he was a rock star. He was a lead singer. But he was also very cool, which is rare in the music industry, his level of coolness. And anybody that knew him knows exactly what I'm talking about. And he was kind. He was a kind dude. I can't explain it. He was the real deal. He really, really was, man. As down to earth as anybody. But that being said, Ronnie. I do want to share an evening with Ronnie. I'm going to tell you a little story. But before I do, I have to share this with you. Singers are a trip. Okay? Singers are a trip. And I've recorded more vocal tracks than I care to remember. Some are great. Some singers know what they're doing. They come to a session prepared, and things are easy, and they're fun, and they're cool. And then you have the singer that can sing a little bit, right? But, well, let's just say that today you have Auto-Tune and Pro Tools. Right? It's a different kind of party today. And singers depend on that kind of stuff. You know, it was different back in the days of old when all you had was a microphone and a tape machine. All right? So I'll leave it at that. A vocal track today can take days. It can take weeks. But it never takes a weekday. It never does. But not with Ronnie. No. Dude was a professional. A total professional. Unbelievably prepared. Let me explain. I'm going to tell you the story this evening with Ronnie. One night, I was invited down to Total Access Studios in Redondo Beach, California. Famous place, great place. Been there many, many, many times. The owner, Win Davis, is one of the most talented guys in the industry, period, bar none. And so many hits and great albums came out of Total Access. And I had a working relationship for many, many years with Win. But anyway, so, I go down. And Ronnie and the band were there. This is like 2000, 2001. And Ronnie and the band were in the studio recording tracks for the album Killing the Dragon. And it was with Jimmy Bain, Doug Aldrich, and Simon Wright on drums, with Win Davis, by the way, engineering. And so I get to the studio, and I walk in, and we're all friends. This is a family situation, right? Of course, Dougie and Jimmy and Ronnie and Win I've known just as long as everybody else, right? So it's a family thing, and it's all good. I pull in, and we're saying hello, and when you walked in the door there, you walk into this little lobby. This is a working studio, by the way. This is where you go to work. But there was a little, a big studio, massive, beautiful place. But it wasn't all cushy-cush like some other studios, right? But they had this little area with the TV when you first walk in. And the NBA playoffs were on. And I won't forget that because I walked in, and Ronnie is watching the playoffs, and I said, wow, okay. And he goes, man, it doesn't matter. I don't want to. But what it did show me at that point, which I had talked about before, but I didn't realize Ronnie was a sports guy, and he loved his NBA, loved his basketball, especially New York basketball. Was third. And all the players, coaches, this, that, history, trades, he fully engaged into basketball. So we sit down and start watching the playoffs. Now, this is the thing. They are recording an album, right? The clock is ticking, right? Bills are being paid. But we sit and we watch the playoffs. Doug Aldrich comes in, and he goes, dude, man, you got to see the guitar setup. So I get up and I walk into the studio. And I'm looking at the amps and Ashdown and some stuff that I had loaned Doug and things, and it was all there. And we go through and do that. Now, there's a reason for this long lead up. So then I walk back through. Ronnie is still there watching the playoffs. And I walk through the control room. Ronnie gets up, comes with me, and he grabs me by my arm, and he goes, you got to see the vocal booth, man. I said, okay. And we walked through the control room into the vocal booth, and this was the Ronnie James Studio setup. I want you to picture this in your brain. He had, I don't know what you call it, like a pulpit thing that preachers have at a church, right? And it's sitting there, right? And with the vocal microphone coming off of it, a Neumann, right, the U87 or U47 or whatever, coming off of this thing, and then opened up, looks like a Bible, but it's not, is his lyrics that is all handwritten out, right? It's 3-ring binder, and that's sitting there. The lights are off, and all around us in this big room with the glass, going into the studio in front of us. The ledge, you can see this on the bunker cam, the ledge for the glass window are candles, right? And they're end to end. I don't know, 20, 30, 40 candles. They're all lit and very cool. And these candles were all over the place, right? Candles, candles, candles. Room is dark, lit up with candlelight. And this pulpit thing, whatever you call what a preacher speaks at. It's there. I think it was stolen from a church, man. It looked like it came out of a church. But it had a microphone stand built on it with this Neumann microphone. And I'm like, man, what a vibe, right? So anyway, we walk out. And Ronnie comes in, and I walk over and watching the NBA. Ronnie comes up to me, and he goes, you want to eat dinner with us? I said, yeah. What do you want? Thai food? And I said, yeah, Thai food sounds good. Okay, Thai food. And he points to one of the assistants. He said, Thai food for everybody. Just order everything. Ronnie goes, I got to cut some vocal tracks. When I'm done, we'll eat. That's what he said. And he walks in to cut this song. And this is all singers listen to me right now. Ronnie goes in, and I hear Ronnie go, okay, roll tape. And I'm sitting out there with Jimmy Bain, Doug Aldrich. NBA is on TV. They're watching NBA. I'm listening to Ronnie. The studio door is open. And Ronnie goes, okay, just want to go through and cut lead vocals. Let's just lay that down. Then I'll go back and do harmonies. That's what he says. Now, I've heard many singers say this, but he says that to win. He goes through, song is 4 minutes long, right? Whatever, 5 minutes, 4 minutes. Ronnie cuts the vocal track in one take. But this is how he did it. He goes through, he does the verse, he does it, he goes play it back, played it back, never overdubbed. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's go to the next verse. Boom, cuts it. Let's play it back, listens, and I'm like, what the heck? Goes to the choruses, and he goes, okay, when finishes the song, like 10 minutes, goes back and says, okay, we're going to do harmonies. And I'm listening, and I'm like, what kind of singer? And they were perfect vocal, perfect, right? And he goes back, and this is what I'm saying, he comes prepared. This is work. He's not there to have fun. He's not there to goof off. He's not there to have ego. He's not there to impress. He's not there to frustrate people or run an engineer. No, he's there to get the vocals done on this song. Goes back and he does a harmony vocal to his lead vocal, doubles it, and gets to the chorus and goes, okay, let's go through. I'm going to do the first harmony. Goes through harmony, done. Goes through. It goes, okay, bring it back. I'm going to do another harmony. Comes back, does the second harmony vocal to that vocal, and goes, okay, let's go to the next chorus. Does the same thing. Gets to the end of the song, another thing, another doubles the choruses, and goes, okay, let's hear it back. And I'm sitting out there going, that took about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and he is done with harmonies. They're watching the basketball game. I'm listening to Ronnie. And he plays the song back, and I'm sitting back and I'm listening, and it's perfect. It sounds like the album that you hear in the car, but it's done. And it gets to the end, and Ronnie steps up right 3 feet from me at the door and goes, how'd that sound? And I go, dude, are you done? And he goes, yeah, man, we got to eat Thai food. Is it here? And the assistant comes in and said, Thai food's here. And he goes, okay, let's go. And Ronnie grabs me, and we walk back we're all holding bags of Thai food. We walk to the back of the studio. I am stunned. I can't believe it went down like that. So we go in, we sit down at this table, and we're handing out food, and and I am just staring at Ronnie, thinking to myself, kids today, if they were only here, anybody that thinks they're a lead singer and thinks that they have to do, you come prepared. If a kid was there today with us, 20, 21 years old, and he thinks he's the greatest singer in the world, and he may be, and he sat and watched how Ronnie did that. Ronnie didn't come in thinking he knew what he was going to do and take a couple of cracks at it, and he's got his ideas. This stuff was through pre-production, written, done, practiced, And now they're here to cut vocal tracks and get the song done to move on to the next song to get the album released for his fans. He's not there to create or frustrate or be a lead singer. He was a working man. And it was one of the most impressive things. And I just got to tell you, I sat there at dinner. Everybody is talking about the NBA, including Ronnie, and or just things. And I'm just sitting there thinking, that was the greatest vocal performance I have ever heard. And this is what I want to leave you with. That was just one track on that album. One track of all of the albums that Ronnie has ever done. And that's it. For me, it was life-changing. And for Ronnie, it was just another day at the office. And that's one of the evenings with Ronnie James Dio. Ronnie, I hope right now you're listening to me tell this story because you know exactly how that went down that night. And you know how stunned and happy you made me. You're a good dude. And there you go. That's my Ronnie James Dio story. Let's get out of here because I got to get to Corey Goode. All right, 7 years ago today, Ronnie James Dio left this earth. He was one of the greatest, one of the best, one of the kindest, one of the coolest. There you go. I got many more stories, but not enough time. I got to get to Corey Goode. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Corey Goode. Tomorrow night's Fader night. Don't forget. All right? I got to get out of here. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Tepe.
Hi, folks. Let's wind the clocks back 60 years. Food was different. Food provided health and nutrition, and using supplements was minimal. Unfortunately, now we have chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides that can be quite lethal in the name of our food supply and, of course, the ever-loving dollar. Supplementing our diets can be very important to stay healthy. Cleansing from daily intruders to the body might be critical. Live strong and take charge. Log on to GetTheTea.com. Our herbal tea is a great way to cleanse from intruders. Our supplements is a great way to maintain and improve your health. When your health is not up to par, go to GetTheTea.com. No GMOs, no fillers, and organic, and very helpful in keeping you at the top of your game. Life is too short to feel, you know what I mean. Stay in the game, at the top of your game with GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Again, GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fade or Nots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Matthew. You're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I was just checking out over on Twitter. We need an evening of Jimmy stories from Brent. I'm going to tell you, Rita just saw that tweet, and I'm going to say this. Nothing scares her more than a tweet like that. She just rolls her eyes and like, I've heard this story so many times. I just can't do it again. All right. Hey, Rita, what do you say? A night of Jimmy's stories. I think she just broke some stuff down the hall. I already hear it happening. All right, let's do this. Corey Goode's with us tonight. And, yes, whistleblower, contactee, activist, author, and founder of the Full Disclosure Project, a collective of transparency advocates focused on the release of advanced and improperly classified technologies. These technologies could immediately bring an end to the needless suffering of many, as well as an increased level of peace, prosperity, and equality for the people around the world. Corey is creating collaborative efforts between various artists, activists, and business professionals who will be producing and distributing media projects on this subject, including documentaries, feature films, shorts, animated films, commercials, music, and print. Corey was also recruited through one of the MyLab programs at the young age of 6. Goode trained and served in the program from 1976 to 1986 and 87. Currently, Corey serves as a delegate for the Non-Terrestrial Sphere Being Alliance and has been tasked as a harbinger of their message. Now, the message is, every day, focus on becoming more service to others. Focus on being more loving. Focus on being forgiving of yourself and others. This will change the very vibration of this planet. Think about that. The shared consciousness of humanity and change humanity one person at a time is what he is doing. The website, of course, is Sphere Being Alliance, and I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, Corey Goode. Corey, good evening, my friend.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing good. You're here in Los Angeles, man, right now.
I am. Yes, I've been here a couple of days. I've been preparing to talk to a comic book publisher and talk to a few other people about some projects.
How's Hollywood treating you? It's pretty crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy. Yeah, it's so far so good, though.
I like your laugh. Most people, you hear about Hollywood in the films and the movies and whatever that have never been here, but you experience Hollywood and look at the tourists and what is really going on, down in Hollywood these days, and it's insane. It's an absolute insane, trippy thing to go and experience. Is this your first time in Hollywood?
It is. I don't think I was brought in the area when I was a teenager by my parents, but I don't think we hit Hollywood.
Yeah, well, back then you wouldn't have hit Hollywood. The only reason to go to Hollywood back then would I don't want to list the reasons for going, but you would probably end the evening being robbed. Okay, so today it's pretty gentrified down there. So, but welcome to Hollywood, and we're getting ready to gear up to Contact in the Desert, and so let's talk about that for just a second. You're going to be doing a few different presentations out there. What are you going to be talking about this year?
Well, I guess the main presentation I'm going to do is going to be on the 22 different genetic programs that the non-terrestrials have been performing on humans of Earth since, 500,000 years ago, 400,000 years ago. We're going to cover the cosmic duality aspect of, they're actually, being a, as below, so above. We'll do the opposite, that, there is duality out there. Then we're going to be covering, we're going to be showing some new footage of William Tompkins and I together for the first time. I got to meet him in San Diego about a month ago.
Right.
So that was very interesting, and we're going to be announcing a book project that we're working on.
And the book project will be announced out at Contact in the Desert, everyone. So, and get ready for that announcement. And we kind of just did it on this show, but that announcement.
Well, not the detail. It's a collaboration of a number of interesting people, so it'll be fun.
Yes, I've seen the list, and I have to say, everybody, that is going to be a pretty interesting publication when that comes out. And that announcement will be at Contact in the Desert. What else are you going to be talking about?
Well, let's see. That's going to be mainly what we're talking about. We're going to do the two genetic programs, the 22 genetic programs talk, and then we're going to do some show and tell of some projects that we're doing, do some meet and greets, and that kind of thing. I don't have it really outlined in front of me what exactly I'm talking about, the other two talks.
And out at Contact, for you, this is, I guess officially, this is your second time doing Contact, but it is a large crowd of people. And they are there to literally hang on your every word, too, as well. Does that help you get through presentations? And because it can be a little bit overwhelming, especially when you're dealing with, hundreds, if not thousands of people.
It is overwhelming. This will actually be my first year at Contact. Last year, I sat up on stage with David Wilcock and answered a couple questions, but I didn't really give a presentation. This will be the first year that I present at Contact.
Right. Hey, Corey, if you could help me out here and speak loudly into your phone. Don't let it wander. Just stay right on that baby. Stay right on that baby. Okay. The documentaries and the comic books and the media and some of these things that you're talking about doing and collaborating on suggest to a lot of I don't know if the word's a lot, but to a few out there that this is purely a money-making venture. And is it just that? Why do documentaries and feature films and all of these other things? What's the intention there?
To be honest, I really don't know how much money these documentaries and really actually make. I've been educated recently about how little money books make, and other different media. So a lot of people think that if you're doing these different types of media, you're bringing in all this money. That's not necessarily the case. But the main reason that we're doing this is to try to find a way to get this message that you eloquently read, the Blue Avian message, but also to start trying to plant seeds in the greater shared consciousness to where we can begin to plant seeds about disclosure, about the different types of technology that are out there. And we've got a number of projects that we're working on that will give us avenues into the mainstream through, graphic novels, through the video game genre. So we have, a number of ways to try to get the message out. And, we do want this to be a successful business as well. I'm not apologetic for, having a business that, will turn a profit at the same time while we're disseminating information to the mass consciousness.
The other part of it, when we talk about unity in the community, and you and I have spoken about this very subject quite a bit off air, and it is part of the non-unity is where I'm going, right? That is part of what this community has been experiencing for so long. The infighting that is happening, to me, it's just crazy. And I've never really quite experienced anything like it. But as you move forward, you will, you continue to see that there is those that are positive and those that are negative towards not only you, but to anybody that's out there in this community. And part of that is
anyone that has divergent information.
It is fascinating to watch this happen, and you see this in real time. Did you expect this kind of divide and stuff that happens in this community and is happening to you right now? Did you expect this? Did you know this was coming? Even though I warned you and others, right? But
I was definitely prepared for it. I knew it was coming. And in the beginning, when people would pop up here and there, usually it's small little, noisy minorities that will pop up with a different theory. And if I ignore them, they just kind of go away, usually. But there's a couple aspects to this. We have everyone, we're trying to figure out what's going on. So we're using our experiences and the information that we've been able to gather to try to figure it out. And inadvertently, we form our own little belief systems, or, not really UFO religions, but our own ideologies. And then we try to validate them through information that's out there. So, we divide ourselves to a certain extent by, our different belief systems. But at the same time, we do have agents, of the powers that be that come in and do instigate divide and conquer tactics, because they do not want this community coming together the way that a lot of people would like to see it come together.
The past and the history in ufology has had its serious tragic moments, and without going into specifics of years past, but some of the craziest things have gone down. And every time that I see it happen, I often wonder, was this something that was forced? Was this something that was possibly disinfo? Was it government related? Was it not? And a lot of these turned out to be just that there were instigators out there that got caught, that had infiltrated this community and are trying to stir things up on purpose. And this is not imagination. This is not crazy conspiracy paranoia talk. I'm talking about reality of some real situations. Do you feel that it is just that it's done on purpose? It's not the fans. It's not the people that want knowledge and that maybe question what you're saying, but that this is something direct to bring you down?
Well, it's not only to bring me down. That's a little bit paranoid, but there are certain people that have personality conflicts with me, or I violated their belief systems. There's any number of different reasons why they've chosen to take a stance against me. But there is the aspect of infiltrators into this community, ufology, and that are definitely sowing seeds of division. And I experienced that when I tried to form, the Full Disclosure Project in the beginning. There were certain individuals that started calling everyone that I was working with, trying to get them to stop, working with each other. It's not so much about trying to bring me down as they do not want this community unified. It would be too powerful. If the community came together and started doing, mass demonstrations on disclosure of, hidden technologies. If we all got together and started coming up with plans on how to do social media campaigns and other different techniques of trying to get disclosure out, because we are going to be disclosure. Disclosure is not going to occur, by any certain president walking up to a podium and making an announcement.
Right. No, I don't think any of us can expect that. Now, there have been, I don't want to name names for any reason, but because I have confidentiality with people that I have conversations with. But some of it I have shared with you, and you do know that there are some researchers and some authors out there that have confided in me and asked me questions specifically about you and how I felt about you. And those researchers, which will turn out to surprise a lot of people here in the coming days and months, and we're going to talk about that in just a bit, that have now come to you and said, okay, you know what, let's work together. And is that the unity in the community that you're looking for? And how does that make you feel where you have some of these great researchers out there that maybe questioned you, but now they understand that we just need to cooperate and join hands and do this together because we're much stronger that way?
Well, a lot of researchers were, quite honestly, kicking back and watching to see if I was going to be a flash in the pan,
right?
And to see if the information would hold up over time and if I would be consistent. And as I have been consistent, they have begun to approach me, ask me questions. Some of them have gone through their own vetting process with me. It's been interesting to see. A lot of people think that certain researchers are against me just by what you see posted out there by people we're not going to mention.
Right.
But I'm starting to work with these people now, so. It is. They don't want the unity between the researchers, but they mainly don't want the major community at large. They do not want them unifying and coming together and having singular goals of trying to reach disclosure.
Well, the thing that I have found interesting is this. I have interviewed everybody, okay? I've done 1,000 interviews. And what I have been able to do for this audience and for you is to present every single point of view, every piece of evidence. A lot of it contradicts each other. A lot of it doesn't make sense, and they don't necessarily connect the dots. But what I have always done with everybody, including yourself, is give everybody a platform to speak, right? To get your ideas out there. And this audience, from day to day to day to day, hears conflicting stuff, right? From the day before and then the next day. And it's the same thing with you. But the platform has always been there for each one of these researchers, no matter what, if the evidence is conflicting or not. And it's not up to me to question anybody that comes onto this show. It just doesn't. It wouldn't work for this community if we did it that way. Nobody would want to come on to this show if that's what was going to happen. And for you, as we start to move this forward, that's exactly the frame of mind where you are at, that you need to try to get out there to this community, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree.
And again, Corey, I'm going to ask you, speak loudly into the phone. Speak loudly. Remember, I have.
I just had to take a drink of water. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. But and so for you, is that the goal with these projects, to get these researchers and authors together that will surprise people that have never collectively maybe even gotten together before, to present out in a unified front?
Yes, if we can get, even if a lot of our information doesn't mesh, totally, as long as we can agree that none of us have, the answers right now, we all want the answers, then, we can stop debating what our little differences are and start to focus on getting those answers. That's the whole goal. And there are a lot of researchers that if they started to work together and collaborate instead of, having everyone's, this is my information, I've got to keep it separate from everyone else's information, and they guard their little areas, and they stay in their little area of expertise. If we can all start branching out and working together, we can start to give people also, if you bring these people together, they're going to get a broader spectrum of information. If we can get these people together at conferences, get them together working on different documentaries, there's a lot of information that we can get disseminated.
One of the announcements that I wanted to do, so let's do that now before the break, is you are going to be having a conference in August up at Mount Shasta. Tell us about that.
Yes, it's going to be Eclipse of Disclosure. The Eclipse of Disclosure is going to be in Mount Shasta, August 18th through the 21st during the eclipse. And so far we don't have, we can't announce a lot of the speakers that we're talking to. We're getting all that worked out right now. But we are selling early bird tickets at eclipseofdisclosure.brownpapertickets.com.
Okay, I've got the link here. Where's the event going to be at?
It's actually going to be in Leeds, which is just outside of Mount Shasta at a college campus. We're going to have, I think, 550 seats, and we're also going to be live streaming it as well. That we'll be putting up a website here in the next 20 days or so that will have the speakers that have agreed to speak, as well as the streaming video information.
Okay, I've got the link up now, and you've only got so many a limited amount of early bird tickets that are available, but right now there are still some available, right?
Yes, there are. We've sold, I think, about 35 so far. So yeah, we've still got a fair number, but those will no longer be on sale at that price once we launch our website.
Yeah, we get that. You don't sound like too much of a businessman right now. What's funny about we totally understand that concept. The early bird tickets are up and available. I will be the MC at this conference, everybody, so we can announce that. And I'm very, very excited about that, to do that up at Shasta at this college. But what speakers at this point can you confirm?
The speakers that were at Mount Shasta last year when I spoke, Dr. Michael Sala is going to be there. We're going to have Laura Eisenhower there. Of course, I'll be speaking there. And there are a few others. We're just waiting for confirmations right now.
What about Bill Tompkins?
Bill Tompkins, I don't know if he'll be able to make it or not. We'll have to see. That's he's spoken about Mount Shasta in the past, and it seems to be a place that he wouldn't mind going. So we'll see what we can work out. That's definitely a person that we would like to have.
Now, this is during the eclipse, so there's going to be some eclipse ceremonies, too, as well. I can only imagine how cool that's going to be at Shasta. How many days is the event itself?
Well, it's going to be for the 3 days. We're going to have not only the speaking event, but we're going to have, off-site events like, we were talking about the different ceremonies for the eclipse. And we're going to be possibly having some sort of a street fair, working with different food vendors as well. Okay.
Again, Corey, you got to stay on the mic. See, I feel like
I'm on the mic. It's my voice. It's my weak voice.
it's funny.
I've spent the day talking to a lot of people, so my voice is kind of fading in and out.
Okay, well, I'm just letting you know we have very expensive audio gear here, so all of this gets amplified. right? So, anyway, I feel like your big brother coaching you and writing you about this. But I have to, because the audience is listening to this, too, as well. One of the stated goals of this, the unity in the community at this conference, is this the right time to do it? I mean, it is a big push. It is a big move. It will be a big conference. A lot is to be expected. But is this the right time for this?
Well, it has to be. Right now, all of the starseed type people are being activated. I have never seen a time when there are more starseeds that are excited, activated, and ready to get on mission. And a friend of mine, Bridget Nielsen, said that at this point we're not really starseeds, we're star blossoms. And I'm seeing a lot of people that have blossomed and are ready to get out and fulfill their mission. So why not get organized? Why not come together and focus on this mission together?
Let's take a break right here, Corey. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation about unity in the community and some other stuff. Obviously, Corey has always got breaking news on something, and we'll be jumping into that. I've got some more questions. So do you. Post everything up at hashtag F2BQ in Twitter, or you can shoot me an email, Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. Our guest tonight, Corey Goode. I'll be right back.
Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Hello, I'm Cecilia, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers. We are also Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to. So I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain, and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about Angioprim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking Angioprim, the pain was gone, and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com. Or talk to a trained consultant. Call Angioprim toll-free at 877-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. Call 877-882-7221 or go to the website angioprim.com.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, our guest, Corey Goode, is going to be speaking at Contact in the Desert. It's kicking off this Friday, the 19th. And so tickets and info over at jimmychurchradio.com. Come and hang out with us. Hey, Corey, are you going to be hanging out? Are you going to walk around and hang out with everybody?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to do a couple meet and greets. I plan on going to the vendor area and taking a look at the art and different things that they have. And I hope to attend one of your get-togethers.
You know that's where I was going.
They're legendary.
They're getting to that level. And, you know, it has nothing to do with me or Rita, actually. It's the fans. You know, the Fadernauts are the absolute best. And last year we did have a great time. And you know, you hanging out was pretty epic. It was a pretty fun night that we had. Plus, we had the sightings.
We walked up. Yeah, we walked up right at the end of, I believe, you and Richard Dolan, and I can't remember who else was standing.
Mike Barra was standing right there.
Yes. That's right.
That was a crazy night, man, with the sightings that were going on and the Fadernauts and the food and everything else. It all comes together at Contact in the Desert. It's a really amazing time. Now, I wanted to ask you about this. The news today, I want to change gears a little bit. We'll get back to unity in the community in a bit. And maybe we'll even take some phone calls. But the breaking news that you and I were talking about earlier today, right before the show, was this crazy news, once again, about Trump. This show is never about politics, but the conspiracy of politics is right now, today, it's the gift that keeps on giving. It just won't stop. Every single day there's something else.
Changing anytime soon.
Yeah, game changing. So here we have this thing today where suddenly, which is about Comey saying that, you know, Trump had told him to get rid of Flynn or stop the Flynn. To stop investigating Flynn. Now, obviously, the questions of obstruction of justice come into play. And immediately, both sides were out there talking about, the big impeachment word, right? That started coming, and it's like happening so fast. I don't know what's going to go on tomorrow, but when you hear this,
tomorrow, who knows? The way information has been flowing and how little of it has panned out, I'm just waiting to see how much of this is actually going to pan out, and then I will form an opinion, because every time I've seen, there's just been so much tainted information going around on both sides that I've just stayed away from the whole topic, to be honest. The only thing I've really focused on is some of the information I'm receiving in the background about the basically stealth civil war that's going on in this country between the globalist deep state and several groups that groups that are backed by what we're calling this global alliance. So it's very real, and there's been a stalemate in this battle that's been going on for a while that we may see some movement on here pretty soon. There's been talk about impeachment, but there's been talk on the other side about, actual, military coups occurring. There has been some very, there has been some scary lines of conversation going on in the background.
Is it the when we drop the deep state? Who is running the government for real? Behind what we see publicly, are they just not happy with Trump, or is it the cabal? Is it the feds? Is this a money thing? Is this an ET driven thing?
It's a status. They want the status quo, and the government's it's not ran by the heads of these different departments. It's ran by career bureaucrats and politicians who usually work more on the mid-level area. They're people that are almost impossible to fire, and that's really what they're talking about when they're talking about the deep state. And a lot of these people happen to have globalist views or agendas, which, the globalist agenda goes into the New World Order, which we know where that came from. So, it's just a very tricky topic right now, especially with everyone being polarized still from the elections. But on the inside, the shadow stuff that's going on, it's just as polarized. But what's occurring is much more dangerous, and the ramifications of the different games that are being played could pop out for everyone to see at any time.
Is the control of the media part of the, how do I want to say this? Every single misstep is under a magnifying glass when it comes out of Washington, D.C. right now. Every little thing is just amplified, and no mistakes are allowed. Is that the deep state and corporate media that controls all of the media outlets, trying to make sure that he cannot succeed?
Well, not only have we had documentation that proves that the intelligence community vets and screens just about all of the news that we see, but we've recently seen the law, I think, passed that overtly stated that propagandizing the public is legal and something that the government is going to pursue. So this isn't a conspiracy theory. This is something that's been implemented since the days of them first having superheroes like Captain America on comic books.
Both yourself and Wilcock, not only on this show, but to me privately, you guys have expressed this since before the election, that if Trump made it in, that if somehow that happened, that he would end up ultimately being forced out, that they actually don't want him there. And it seems like, from where I'm sitting, that's exactly what is happening here. It's like a battle he can't win. And is that what is going on here? Is he just absolutely being forced out?
Yes, he's being shut down on every avenue he tries to take. You could argue that a lot of his rhetoric has caused him, he shot himself in the foot, a lot, which he does repeatedly. But there is an aspect of this deep state wanting to maintain the status quo. And if someone comes in and says, that they are a nationalist, not a globalist, and it scares them. And they've already been losing power throughout the globe because of this global alliance's work that's been reducing their footprint in other countries. So the cabal has been licking their wounds for a little while, and the last thing they want right now are any other surprises popping up. So yeah, they're definitely on a war footing, and
Is there yes, and I hear you. Is there a way for him to fight back and survive this?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't see him. I mean, the next 4 years are just going to be turmoil. I mean, I'm not being a prophet by saying that. Everyone knows that.
Right.
And I don't think anyone can guess what will happen 3 months from now, let alone, 3 years from now. Just, the way things have been occurring, all the things that pop out in the news cycle, the 24-hour news cycle.
Right. And the other fascinating thing for me that I wanted to ask you about, I would think that every president, it doesn't matter who, we can go back to Kennedy and name everybody in the last 50, 60 years, has all stumbled, has all made mistakes in the Oval Office, has all said the wrong things, and we don't know about it because it's not leaked and we just don't know. But it seems like with Trump and his administration, everybody is leaking. Everybody is talking. Every agency is leaking. His friends are leaking. It's the leakiest ship ever. And it's just like we now know, every single day we know every single mistake that he makes all day long. Is that part of it? I mean, is everybody in on it?
Well, like I said, he does shoot himself in the foot quite often. He's providing them all the content that they need at this point, but there is a concerted effort, and a lot of it has to do with ideology and people being loyalty to their parties, and what this is more the divide and conquer stuff that we've been talking about in the unity for the unity in the community.
Right.
They want people, if they're out protesting in the streets against Trump, instead of protesting and demonstrating for suppressed technologies to be released. If all of these people refocused all of this energy they have, to something like that, overnight this world would change and we would start to get the information we want. And it's much better for the elite if they have us fighting at each other's throats all the time.
Well, one of the most important points here that you just brought up that this community has been talking about for a long time is that suppressed technology. And it would fix so many different things. Obviously, somebody's going to make a lot less money with some of these technologies coming out. There must be a way to monetize those technologies, too, as well, but they just don't. You're not the only one that has spoken about this. Why can't we get the Sphere Being Alliance to get this technology to us directly and go around Washington? Why can't ET help us in a more direct fashion?
Well, the cosmos is a huge bureaucracy. These benevolent groups, they have cosmic law that they follow, and they can't overtly come and interfere in our timeline. Now, what is the most consistent thing that we hear from contactees going back to the 50s? The non-terrestrials always communicate usually two things. Tell your government to release suppressed technologies and raise your consciousness or become more spiritual. Those are the two most consistent things that you hear. And those are two things that this community can focus on. We can focus on trying to get information out to the wider community to help raise the consciousness, and we can start to, plant the seeds that there is higher technology already developed out there that the government is using, and begin to catalyze the public to start demanding this technology be released, especially the pharmaceutical technologies that could save many, many lives every year.
Right. And somebody just tweeted, Eric just tweeted, check this out. He says, Jimmy, You're talking like you believe everything that the news says about Trump all of a sudden. Are you serious? What is up with that? Eric, listen to me, my friend. That's exactly my point that I'm trying to drive home. This is what the media is projecting out onto the world. That's what I'm addressing here. Dude, the last thing that I do is listen to the media. The point is, this is the message. This is the narrative. This is what they are projecting out on everybody else. The people that are listening to this show, and Corey knows this, I'm speaking directly to Eric or to this audience, that the people that listen to this show know my position on this. Do not listen to the news. Whatever it is, today, right now it's Trump and Comey and a memo, and my suggestion is you take what you're listening to on the news right now, flip it over 180 degrees, and what have you got? Then you're closer to the real news. There is no memo. Comey didn't hear it. I don't know, but that's probably closer to the truth. But they are trying to control your emotions. That's what I'm speaking about, Eric. I'm not speaking, man, I don't believe that crap. What I do believe is that they're trying to, what Corey is speaking about right now, they're trying to stir this up. They're trying to stir it up. Corey, have you ever felt this country, and the world being this close to absolute craziness in your life? It feels like day to day this thing could just blow, doesn't it?
Not even close. I've never seen anything like this.
Right.
And a lot of it has to do, again, with these energetic changes that are occurring in our solar system. It's affecting people, and depending on your polarity, if you're a positive person, you're going to become more blissed out and start having all these synchronicities that you can't explain, and you'll start to, have success in your spiritual growth path. If you're negative, you're going to find yourself being more frazzled. You're driving down the road, and you just want to smash into the person next to you, and people just have this frazzled energy, and they're very reactionary right now. So, that's how a lot of the negative people in this field and in others they're self-identifying. They're identifying their polarity, and they can't help it. It's the energetic changes that are occurring are, causing them to act out. And it's happening all over the globe on one level or another with people's behaviors.
Right. And that's interesting how it could be something that is, completely off planet and out of our control too, as well. The thing when I talk about, and I bring so many different people on the show, different researchers, to talk about the darkness that seems to be pushing back against the light. And what I mean by that is we can all feel it, we all see it. What I stopped doing, this is, and I'll say this directly. I stopped a couple of years ago. I just quit watching the news. I stopped because I could feel it changing me, like I was getting ill, like I was getting sick, and there was something going on. And as soon as I stopped that, Corey, I felt better, right? I felt it was amazing how effective television and the news and that drama can be on us, on you, on this audience, on the entire planet.
It's all mind control and manipulation. It's all it is. So, you're doing yourself a favor by cutting that type of media out of your life.
Do you, and how do you handle that?
Well, because I have to comment on certain things, I do take a look at the news for like 20, 30 minutes sometimes every day or every few days to kind of keep apprised.
Okay, so, we've lost, you've got to speak into the phone. There you go.
I stay apprised on the news, but, I can't watch it all day, like I used to back when I was working in the IT field. We constantly had the news running, in the background. And, I just can't handle that kind of negative energy coming at me that often.
And it is that effective, isn't it? It just is. They know how to affect the mind. It's not a joke.
It's not a joke. No, these the best thing that ever happened to the intelligence community was the invention of the television.
Right.
It made the job much easier.
When you are, I wanted to ask you too, the last contact that you've had with the sphere beings and what the last message has been. Do you ever talk to them about this?
Talk to them about
mind control and the media controlling the masses and the status quo here.
No, I don't. That's not much of a topic that the Blue Avians would broach. They seem to be either pointing out things about myself that I need to change, a lot of personal things, or they're, talking about higher level vibratory kind of stuff. About more. I guess you would talk about the esoteric kind of things.
Right. Very interesting, because we've been warned about this here. We've had different authors, and I always bring up George Orwell. But we've had, the suggestion of this going back almost before television, that this is what is happening, but nobody wanted to listen to the warnings. Instead, they wanted to stay comfortable in their life, right? No matter what it is, they wanted to have the blinders on and ignore what was going on around them.
And that's America mainly that we're talking about. But typically, that's the way America has been. Even World War II, we didn't want to get involved in the war. We were the sleeping giant. We had to, the public had to get to a certain point to where they would be pulled out of this state that you're talking about into a state of action. And it seems like each generation it takes something more intense to catalyze them. So hopefully, it won't take another 9/11 or another crazy situation like that to catalyze people to wake up and not just take their country back, but basically reinstill some sort of ethics into the political process at any level would be nice at this point.
Why do you think it's so hard to be good? Why do you think it's so hard to service to others and forgiving yourself and others and changing the vibration on this planet? That's hard work. That's hard.
It is, because the entire matrix is set up to make you be self-focused. I need to eat. I need clothes. I need a nicer car than my neighbor. We are programmed that way. So, we really don't have much of a chance.
And, you go on that treadmill, right? You graduate from school and you go out and you work for 30 years and you get to the end of the line and you get the nice house and the 3-car garage with 3 cars in it and everything that you thought was supposed to make you happy. And then you step back and you go, you know what, there's a lot more to life here than this. I don't feel any different than when I started this madness, right?
Well, yeah, you get to the end of your life and you feel robbed. You missed the whole point of life, and you were guided down the wrong path by everything that you thought that you trusted, the government, the media, the social norms that are used to program societies. So, we've got a lot to overcome.
I got an email the other day from somebody that said that they were, I think they said that they were in their 80s. And I think that's what it was. I'm going to paraphrase here, but that I've gotten to the end of my life, right? I literally just read what we're talking about. And that I've just realized that I did it all wrong. Right? I did it all wrong, and your show makes me happy, and I realize that the people that you interview and your guests and the people that call into the show are doing it the right way. And here I am, and I've done it wrong all these years. And it makes me wonder, too. It makes me look back and reflect. I am so glad that I took the path that I did. And for you now, is that, are you getting that same vibe? Are you happy on this path? Have you found your bliss?
I have found my bliss. It's, it was very difficult when I first started, coming out as a whistleblower. The first probably 6 months, I did not know what was going to happen to me or what was going to happen to my family. I was worried, to be honest. And then as time went by, and I was able to talk about this secret space program information without major reprisals, I had threats. Then, I began to be able to enjoy myself a little bit more and try to become more comfortable. Because I'm an extreme introvert. At the beginning, when I was sitting in front of the cameras at Gaia, I was petrified. I was petrified just being an introvert in front of cameras, but also petrified delivering that information because, I knew that there could be reprisals, and I knew that 90% of people out there, or I figured 90% of people out there were just going to, shake their heads and, move on and not even stop to listen.
Right. Well, that's you could sit all day, flip a coin, flip it 100 times, it's gonna come back 50 times heads, right? Life, this country, everything is 50%. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's just, you can start off with 100% of, but as you move along in life, everything just averages out. So you're going to have half that don't get it. You are going to have half that do. You're going to have half that question for the wrong intentions. You're going to have the ones that question for the right. Everything is 50-50, my friend. And it's really funny. You're never going to make everybody happy. You're never going to get into the heads of 100% of everybody to effectively make change. And I think that you are fully grasping that idea today.
Right, and I'm not even looking for 50%. If we can get a small percent of the mass consciousness to have this 100th monkey effect kick in, then we're going to have a major effect on the direction our mass consciousness chooses, the direction that we're moving in. This future timeline, we're all deciding it right now as a mass consciousness. So, yes, we, all of us, I think we should all be called to reach out to the mass consciousness and try to negate all of the mind control that's going on with overt calls of action to put out media, put out information any way we can to positively affect that timeline through the mass consciousness.
Let's take a break right here, Corey. Fantastic conversation. Thank you so much for this. And the audience is right there with us. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with Corey right after this short break. You stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
End time is not what you thought. In their new book, 12/24/36, authors Mike and Cheryl Gilmore bring forth a startling new idea on the beginning of humankind, how life begins on Earth, and when our Creator concludes this age. In the book, 12/24/36, three small groups of individuals, separated by thousands of miles, discover together the answers to the beginning of our universe and all the life it contains. Mike Gilmore is the author of 5 Levels of Power novels and the Sled Investigation series. Cheryl Gilmore is current state director in South Carolina for MUFON and brings a lifetime of experience with UFOs and related fields. As a team, their new book about life in the near future on Earth sets aside most people's religious and scientific beliefs. Available exclusively on Amazon in softback for $8.99 or the ebook price for only $2.99. Remember, Amazon softback $8.99, ebook only $2.99. 12/24/36. Get your copy today.
Hey there, quick question for you. Would you be okay with more energy, more endurance, thicker, healthier hair, a better mood, reduced appearance of wrinkles, improved sleep, improved blood pressure and cholesterol profiles, improved vision, improved memory? Okay then. Well now, have you heard of Nature's Youth RSF? It's from the anti-aging experts at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. See, at Nature's Youth, they understand exactly what it means to provide top-quality health products. And Nature's Youth customers not only improve their health, they know they're also providing their body with the right nourishment to maintain that peak performance and fight the aging process. If health, wellness, and nutrition are what you desire, choose Nature's Youth RSF. I did. You see, you're going to get older. It's just up to you how you feel when you get there. Get started today. Nature's Youth RSF. Simple to use, simple to order. Go to nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Corey Goode. Corey's going to be at Contact in the Desert this week. He'll be hanging out. Really looking forward to it. Now, for this audience, I'm going to say this right now with Corey on the line. Corey and I talk, for anybody out there that thinks that I go easy, I'll say this. Corey and I have had some pretty harsh conversations privately on the phone. Corey, you would say that is indeed true, isn't it?
Definitely.
Okay.
We've definitely had some interesting conversations.
Very interesting. And so I'm going to say this. I'm going to share a taste of one of those conversations with something that I said to you once. And I'm going to say this to the audience, and I want you to answer it again for the audience. And I said to you once, I said, Corey, you are perplexing to me. I said that you are one of two things, and you know exactly where I'm going right now, Corey. So let's do this, okay? I said you're one of two things. There's a possibility of a third thing out there, and I want to let that hang out. And when I asked you about the first two versions of you, then you suggested the third, which I hadn't mentioned yet, which I found really interesting. So let's actually talk about this for a second. I said, because we were just talking about mind control right before the break, and I said to you, I said, Corey, either one of two versions of Corey Goode. The first one is everything that you are presenting to the world is accurate and real and has happened. There's that, 100%. Or the exact opposite, that there is the possibility that you could be in the middle of a crazy mind control program where all of this has been injected into you and you believe it as real, but the events haven't happened, but you don't know the difference. Right? And I want you to say to the audience right now, yes, Jimmy, you actually said that to me on the phone, right?
Yes, and you said it to me in person, too.
Yes, I said it to you in person. So when I say that to you, how do you react, and which version do you think you are?
Well, I'm definitely speaking what I believe is the truth. Now, how would I be able to answer that I'm being mind controlled? That I had a lot of access to that type of technology. I did see all the sophisticated technologies that were available to be able to, use the voice of God type technologies to put in stream memories. I've seen what is out there, or at least what was out there during the time I was in the programs. Non-terrestrials and people in the programs are going to have a lot more advanced technology than when, I was serving. So we always have to have that in the back of our minds with everyone in this field. And to be honest, after I served 20 years in the programs, saw all these different types of non-terrestrials in interrogation type situations, I had never heard of a 8-foot-tall blue avian ET. Never heard of it.
Right.
So when the contact first began with me, I was a little bit concerned. And, I had to vet out on my own, go through a process of vetting out to make sure that, I wasn't being, manipulated by a trickster non-terrestrial being. There's a lot of those. So you have to go through a self-vetting process. One of the biggest problems with most humans is that if a non-terrestrial appears before them, people fall to their knees too easily and just start regurgitating what they're being told. So there's a self-vetting process that you have to do when you're either channeling in direct contact with non-terrestrials or indirect contact with non-terrestrials. You have to go through not only vetting them, testing the spirits, but you have to vet yourself throughout the process to make sure that you're not getting emotionally attached to a storyline and try to remain as objective as possible.
Well, through that, I'm sorry for interrupting you, Corey, but through that vetting process, how did you come to the conclusion that you are not part of some MK Ultra mind control Manchurian candidate situation? It had to have been pretty traumatic to go through because you're questioning your own sanity. But you came out of it on the other side. So how do you know?
Well, yeah, and throughout the process of getting your memories back from being blank slated in the 20 and back program, the information, you don't have immediate recall. It starts coming to you in chunks,
right?
In little in pieces. So you have to vet yourself out during that process too. If you're able to have that presence of mind, you're like, okay, I'm now seeing an 8-foot-tall blue bird. Am I showing any other signs of schizophrenia or any other signs of this or that? You have to, start, looking at yourself immediately. So, I went through that vetting process of myself. I've also been working with Gonzalez, who has his name's popped up quite a bit, and there've been enough shared experiences to where I have ruled out that is what's going on.
Did you?
Now, is there influence going on by different non-terrestrials that I'm not being given the whole picture on? Yeah, I think that's going on as well.
And how do you do that? I mean, how do you what's the vetting process for you with that? I mean, is there another non-terrestrial that you can go to behind somebody else's back to confirm their information? I mean, how do you do it?
Well, I mean, there have been times to where I've asked one group about the other, but, one could argue you'd be basically asking the same source if people believe that you're being mind controlled. You'd be asking one aspect of the mind control, is this mind control? Or
right.
So, it's when you start breaking into all the fine details, especially with people when it starts violating their own belief systems or what the information that they've gathered over 10, 20, 40, 50 years of researching this, and it doesn't match up, then, that's going to be the thing that they're going to want to jump to first is, that it's mind control. But they usually try to explain it away in several different types of ways before they settle that, it has to be mind control.
So everybody's tweeting, okay, what was the third version of Corey? Okay, so again, I'm just going to speak about the direct conversation that Corey and I were having.
I don't recall what you were talking about there.
Yeah, the third version was when you interrupted me and you go, the third version is that I'm full of crap, it's all a lie, and I'm doing this for money.
Right.
Yeah, and I said, exactly. And I said, I take the third version out. I'm not. I don't feel the third version. Not from you. I mean, we've all sat down. You sat down with the Fadernauts, and you've hung out with Rita and all of us many times. And I don't get that vibe from you. But possibilities.
Gaia's the only one that's really made money off of this so far.
Easy now, easy. They're listening.
Yeah, I mean, they really are. There's not a slight on them. They're a business. That's
right.
So speaking gigs are starting to come up and all that. But I end up bringing half my crew with me and spending more money than I make.
Right.
Going to them.
Right.
Just to have the production value and to have the presence. So, it's definitely not a money thing. It's a mission-oriented thing. And that's something that all the starseeds out there are going to understand that, you need to survive in this Babylonian money magic society right now. I have to feed my kids. I have to have a roof over my head. But at the same time, why can't you do that while on your mission?
Right. Yeah, this is America, man. No, but I don't have any issues with that. It's just really funny. I think jealousy, which runs rampant here as well, has a large part to do with criticism. So I'll just say that. And if anybody out there is listening that is part of that jealousy, well, you know what? We recognize that, and you'd be surprised how much we don't care or let it affect us. But that being said, I want to go back and remind you and the audience of a tale. There was a guy in our industry. His name is Bill Moore. And Bill Moore was part of the discovery of Roswell. He wrote some of the first books and was part of that research and breaking that story. He was involved neck deep with the MJ-12 documents and presenting those, and was just out there on the circuit writing his books and TV and radio and all that stuff. And it turned out and so much faith in the UFO community was put into this guy, right? And I go back and I listen to him now, and he was just completely full of crap. But nonetheless, he did write those books. He was part of a lot of things that were breaking and so forth. But he was also involved with some other crazy stories. So he gets up, Corey, at I don't even want to say the name of the conference, but the major conference of the year. Room full of packed, right? 1,000 people, who's who of everything in ufology and the paranormal. Everybody is there. He steps up to the microphone. It's a crazy video to watch. He steps up to the mic and says, I'm a disinfo agent. Right? Mm-hmm. And says, I've been fed this information from this group and this group and this group, and I've been misleading you after all these. And literally turns and runs, goes out the back door, and is never seen again. Okay?
Wow, I have not seen that.
Yeah, oh, man. Now, what ufology doesn't want is like a repeat of that, right? Because they put their faith in, those MJ-12 documents and all of his research with Roswell, and he's producing letters and knowledge and things and documents. It was all fed to him. And there's some other parts, but the moral to the story, without staying, into the Bill Moore fiasco, it was a black eye on ufology, and it took a long time for the community to recover from the shock of that, and so when it comes to you or other whistleblowers or that come out publicly, it's hard for us to put our faith back into it. It's really
well,
hard.
That's why a lot of the researchers that have been sitting back on the fence for the last couple of years are, just now starting to feel comfortable talking to me and putting me through their own vetting process, because they've been waiting to see if I'm a flash in the pan or if there's some sort of, get caught up in a bunch of lies and inconsistent. They've been sitting back waiting and watching just because of that scenario that you were bringing up, that I've heard there have been a number of black eyes. I'm not really versed in the history of ufology, but, the Mirage Man thing that occurred.
Bill Moore was part of that, and Bill Doty.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, man, I don't want to get it bums me out. All of those stories. Bill Doty, who is in the film Unacknowledged, and I talked to Greer both on and off the show about Bill Doty. Bill Doty is somebody I'm not cool with. I'm not cool with that guy. And now his story about what he did with disinformation and payoffs and money and creation of documents and causing people to go crazy like Paul Benowitz and some of the things that he was guilty of, to me, it makes my blood boil. And putting trust and faith into somebody, and then you have somebody like Bill Doty come along and goes, dude, that's what we did. And he doesn't have any regrets. Now, and so when people, just like you're talking about right now, Corey, where we're talking about disinformation, or is this possible, or would this actually go on? It does. It really, really, really does. And
there are people that are heavily compromised in this field.
100%. You have to be careful.
So that's always going to be a part of it as well. So that's something we're always going to have to deal with, and why discernment is so important. Not just to buy any person's line, hook, line, and sinker, that we need to make sure we put it through a filtering process and a vetting process, as an individual and as a community.
Yeah, and I try to, I'm very aware, Corey, and for you, the innocence of you, and it's interesting for you to hear you say, I don't know much about ufology or the history. That is part of what I enjoy about you, because you don't know the Bill Moore story or whatever. Certainly Doty and Benowitz.
It's been embarrassing a few times. I've had people come up and introduce themselves to me, and I have no idea who they are, and they're well known in the industry, and it's kind of been embarrassing a few times. But, there's a lot of the history that, I don't know, that I'm starting to put together.
Right. And do you go back? I just wanted to ask you this before we move forward. Do you study the history now? Do you get the books that were written in the 70s and the 80s and check out the different researchers and maybe some of the old radio programs or the old documentaries and the things that were done in the 60s and 70s? Do you take the time to go and do that?
No, I haven't. I don't have the time. I'm working so hard now, and what little time I do have, that when I'm not traveling to spend with my kids, No, I mean, there's a lot of that stuff that I need to research. What I've mainly been doing is relying on team members that have the knowledge, because I just don't have the time to look at all these different areas. This ufology field, there's so much here that it's almost full time just researching to stay current, let alone researching the history and things that went on in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s.
The question that gets asked a lot about you and your position, because you've got quite a few people out there now that are listening to you, and that's not a joke at this point. But the one question that comes up, not only from your true dedicated followers, but others out there, including myself, where is that one piece of hardware, like the glass pad or a photograph or a video, a cell phone camera shot, your wife taking a picture of you flying away in the back. You know, that one thing that would blow the doors off of all of this. When can we expect something like that?
You know, I don't know that we're going to have anything like that when it comes to, to my testimony. We have the whole point of these programs is to make sure you don't have any evidence, to make sure all you have is just an interesting story. That is the way that's how the programs work. Now, setting up cameras, there's been times to where I set up a camera and a meeting won't occur because they didn't want me to record them. There have been times I set up a camera, fresh battery, and all of a sudden I'll go out and after an encounter and the battery's completely empty and there's nothing on the card. It's like something remotely drained the battery. So many times when the blue spheres have come into the house, I'm basically bouncing my wife off the bed trying to wake her up, and she will not come out of the sleep. For a while, she wasn't seeing a lot of things, and she was scratching her head, and she was outside, and she saw an area to where I had barefoot walked out in the kind of muddy ground, and my footprints disappeared, and then they reappeared, headed in a different direction, feet away, to where I had obviously left and been returned.
Right.
It was she started seeing that kind of stuff that she started to figure out that something was really going on, and then of course later on, there were enough incidents around the house to where she didn't question it at all.
Well, what about a gift? What about like a Blue Avion T-shirt? Not being cavalier, but it was kind of wrong. But you know what I mean? What about a gift? Something that they could give to you to bring back?
Such as?
I don't know. A ring? I don't know. Could you imagine, Corey, if you stepped up at Contact in the Desert and said, I was given this, last night from the Blue Avions as a gift to planet Earth, and here it is. It's game over.
These different beings, they don't want us looking to them for answers. The whole point is that, we are the ones that we've been waiting for, that we need to get off of our knees and, start to work to get this freedom and this technology. It's not something that's just going to be handed to us. It's not something that, an alien group is going to circumvent the government and come in and say, here is free energy. It's a natural process that every planet has to go through. It's cosmic law. And they're not going to come and interfere with free will of those on the planet by giving signs in the sky or otherwise that, they do indeed exist.
Yeah, stay on the phone. Stay on the phone with me, brother. Don't lose me, Corey. Stay on the phone. But it almost sounds like religion, right? It almost sounds like you're asking for everybody's faith, right? It almost sounds religious in its twist here.
Well, in a way, this whole experience has been a religious experience for me. People that have seen me go through the metamorphosis that I've gone through, just on cosmic disclosure, there has definitely been a spiritual metamorphosis, of course, along with the physical one that has occurred. So, yeah, there's definitely a spiritual component to it. But the whole reason that these beings are coming to us is not that they want us to have faith in them. They want us to have faith in ourselves. They want us to stop looking to different belief systems or religions or beings to appear in the sky to save us.
Right.
And for us to save ourselves. That is their whole goal. That is the whole point of their message and the way they've approached humanity.
Well, and again, what I'm suggesting here is that too as well. But the other side of it is your message through multimedia or through speaking publicly is also based on faith, right?
Well, yeah. Well, you can say everything's based on faith. Every single thing, including science, those are all belief systems.
Right.
They are theories. They are ideas that we've come up with together to try to explain the natural world, the way energy flows back and forth, and to try to explain the spiritual component or the spark of life of the one infinite creator that we all have in us. We're all trying to explain these things, and we all develop our own religions or belief systems. Every single person out there, I don't care if you're an atheist, that's your belief system. Everyone has a belief system. Everyone has a personal religion that they've created that they consider to be their lens for viewing the world.
We're going to take a break here in 1 minute, and when we come back, we're going to continue opening this up. But what about the video evidence, the film evidence, the contactee, the images that have been photographed or crafted, but also all of the sightings that have happened, including with myself, you too as well. Is that who you are communicating with and interfacing with?
Well, most of what we're seeing in the skies are craft developed by the military-industrial complex, to be honest. For the most part, that is what we are seeing. And as a part of them, they have a plan to start to disclose this military-industrial complex space program that they have had in operation. As a part of that, they're starting to allow us to see them in the skies more often.
That's interesting. But then there's the one. Okay, you said a large part, and I totally agree with that. A large part of it is terrestrial and man-made and experimental craft that we can't explain because we've never seen it before in there. But then there's the small percentage is the one that I'm referring to. When I'm out there with a group of friends in the desert and I watch a white ball take off from the desert floor and blast up into the stars in 2 seconds, says something to me that is not experimental craft. So what is that I am seeing?
Well, a lot of the times when you see a white ball behaving that way, you're seeing the corona around an experimental craft, not an experimental craft, an advanced craft, be it human-made or non-terrestrial made.
Okay. All right. I'll buy.
It creates a field. It creates a field or a bubble around the craft, and inside of our atmosphere, you're going to get this electric corona type of light.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I have no idea. I can't explain any of it away. Let's take a break right here, Corey. And our guest tonight's Corey Goode. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Follow Corey at Sphere Being Alliance. We'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation. And Angioprim is the result, a safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
My name's Doug Salamone, and I have a new show for you that will blow your mind. So what kind of show is it? It's a podcast, and it's called In the News. And you can find us at inthenewspodcast.com. We talk about what's new, what's crazy, what's out of this world, and we'll dissect those thoughts, ideas, and events right here on the show. And hear all the news you may have missed or really don't give a crap about, but want to hear anyways. So come on over and meet me at inthenewspodcast.com. That's inthenewspodcast.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony. Damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Our guest tonight is Corey Goode. Follow me on Twitter at JChurch Radio. You can follow Corey at Sphere Being Alliance on Twitter. Great conversation tonight. And, you know, Corey, with you, I got to say, man, for me, personally, on a personal level, I'm just never disappointed in that I just feel like I can just ask you anything, you know, and I know that I can, but it's cool that I know that I can. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Strange. I think so. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Somebody just posted this question on Twitter that I wanted to go back. I know that we've talked about this before. Kim says her question isn't about the 20. It's about the back. How can people go back in time? She says it can't be that that easy, I guess is what she is suggesting here. Just let's address that just briefly. I know we've done it many times on this show, but explain the back.
Yeah, a lot of people, you know, they don't have a problem with us traveling from star to star, but traveling in time, they just can't understand it, you know, the concept. What people need to realize is that when you get past the point of using even torsion drives and you're using temporal drives, these beings are able to jump around from not only from star system to star system, but if you're traveling in space, you're also traveling in time. You're a time traveler. These beings can jump around in time as easily as we perceive jumping around in space. That was one of the things I brought up when I was talking to the Ancient Aliens producer. One of the producers is that, you know, what if our ancient aliens haven't even discovered us yet? What if they didn't discover us until the year 2050 and then began to travel back into time to change our timeline? This is the type of, you have to start bending your mind around these types of concepts to really, truly understand the full topic. It's, if you're traveling in space, you're traveling in time, so you are a time traveler. Now, how they regressed me in time was they did use a type of torsion field to manipulate time, but to bring me back to the age I was before, it was a pharmaceutical method that took a couple of weeks of being kept sedentary with this pharmaceutical being pumped through my bloodstream.
And so it was a chemical change.
Yes, the age regression part was a pharmaceutical technology.
Interesting. Do you have any? Well, I don't know if you say it on the show. Do you have any idea what that drug was?
No, it was a cocktail.
And so, and you're saying a couple of weeks, like an intravenous. You are on, a gurney somewhere, and you're going through this process.
Laying on a bed, they had these plastic foam, or not plastic, foam forms around my body to keep me, that Velcroed me to the forms and kept me super still. I had to be sedentary and not move during the process, but I was anesthetized. I was not conscious during that 2-week period. That's,
So what happens when you go through that? Your brain. Okay, so what happens to your memories? Obviously, you remember now, and it's come back. But what happens at that point? Is all of that regressed? And are you brought back to? Well, hold on. Let me finish. Are you brought back to being immature? Right? Yeah. Now you haven't grown up and had life experiences. Are all of those taken from you too?
Well, the memories are taken from you, but the instincts that you've developed stay with you. They do the blank slating process during the same time, so they are trying to take away your memories, of course. So, and only 3 to 5% of people who have been blank slated recall their memories or a portion of their memories. It's pretty successful.
And in the blank slating process, now you went back to the age of the 20 and back. When you went back, you went back to 8, right? What age?
No, I was 16 years old, almost 17. My birthday's in February. It was during my Christmas break in 1986.
Right. Okay, I'm confused. That's my bad.
And
okay.
They brought me back to that exact same time frame.
Right. So
now, I didn't have memories, but all of the instincts, all of the I guess I developed all of these instincts through life experience that I kept. I had knowledge that I had no idea how it got there. When my junior year, they had me take the military ASVAB test. I had tested it at the top 5th in the nation, and all of the recruiters were knocking on my door like crazy. And it was because they couldn't figure out why a person of that age was able to do so well on that test, a test that most of the applications are going to be things that you've learned through life experience, through trial and error.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I guess my question is this, whether you were 8 or 16 or 18, it doesn't matter. What about the memories before that age? Right? And so 16, do you remember your 10th Christmas with your family when you were 10 years old?
That's a good question. And also, after Christmas break, I go back to school. I can't hardly remember kids' names because it's been 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, there is that disconnect that happens. Not knowing, where you've been going to school in the same school all year, not remembering where the restroom is, things like that make people, they look at you and they're like, you knew where the restroom was yesterday,
Right. I barely remember where my lockers were in school, right?
Yeah, but after being returned, and even before any of the memories started, coming back, it was very confusing. It was a very confusing time because it just didn't feel right.
And was it, okay, and the other question, because you've mentioned this before too, about cloning, which version of you was regressed?
What do you mean, which version?
Was somebody just brought this up? Was it a cloned version of you?
No.
It was the original you. God, it sounds so crazy to ask these questions, but it was the original
me. Yeah. The original me was brought into the program. I served 20 years. That original me then had a pharmaceutical process to regress me back to physiologically the age I was when I was brought into the program, and then they used a different technology to regress me back into time to that actual time period, to where I was then transported from Carswell Air Force Base back to my home, to where I walked in, laid down, and the next morning I was in a state of confusion.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And did you... Again, this is just obvious question. If you had a scar that happened during that 20-year period, right? You got in a fight, or you cut yourself in the kitchen, you were chopping onions, or you had a scar. Or a tattoo. Perfect. Does that tattoo get regressed? Are you now 16 years old with a Marine Corps tattoo that you got on Mars? I mean, how does that work?
And a lot of the scarring and other types of injuries you've had been corrected using advanced technology, medical technologies already. So a lot of the times you're not going to really have a lot of scars. But if you do, when you're regressed back, when your body is regressed back, it brings you back to a state to where you actually only have the scars that you had when you were at that time period. It's dialing your body's, memory of itself back.
Interesting. What do your friends from high school say to you today? I mean, that know about what you're out there speaking about now.
Well, I wasn't really able to talk to them about it. I wasn't able to tell Stacy about it until just a few years ago.
Right.
But the one person I grew up with since kindergarten, he's actually a scientist. He's got physics, chemistry, geology degrees. He runs a metallurgical engineering type company, and we would sit there and I would give him light details on some of the stuff I had experienced, and he would ask deep scientific questions, and he would walk away, not knowing what to think, because he's a very scientific, pragmatic kind of guy. But I'm giving him these answers that are making him question, and wonder.
What do your neighbors think? I mean, do they come over for barbecues and sit down and go, okay, dude, so what's up, man? Any contact lately?
No. Neighbors, haven't been, really real friendly with the neighbors. In either of the last two places we've lived, it's, people just kind of keep to themselves. So,
well, I can tell.
Nothing with neighbors.
Yeah, well, my neighbors think I'm out of my mind. So there's my advice, man. No matter what you do, you're going to be that guy that's out of the mind. On one of the previous shows, and I called you about this, Gonzalez had said that he had called into the show. I want to clear that up a little bit. I immediately called you and said, do you mind talking about this? Can we go there?
No, that's fine.
Okay, yeah. All right. I'll just tell the audience, everybody remembers when Gonzalez called into the show. I immediately called Corey and said, dude, Gonzalez called the show. And your reply was what?
That yeah, it would have been pretty much impossible because he's not even on the planet, and the all of the information that this person was giving you was not even close.
And you had said, now we, you know what? I haven't even told the audience about this. Okay, you know what? I'll just say it publicly. Who cares? Corey and I and Gonzalez at the same time were texting each other questions. I forgot about that. Do you remember that, Corey?
I do.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that whole thing. So I've got Gonzalez, I've got Corey, I'm in the middle, and they are asking each other questions and to confirm what was going on. And I will say that it pretty much crashed and burned very quickly, right? That's my memory.
Yeah. And I have people sending me emails all the time saying, I'm Gonzalez, and I've got a family convinced that I'm their long-lost kid, and there's one lady that's convinced that I went to high school with her. I mean, there's all kinds of things like that going on that I've just learned to deal with.
When I asked you about Gonzalez, and then we'll move on from this, when I asked you, you nearly cut me off, right? You nearly cut me off, and I said, well, no, hear me out. And you said, no, Jimmy, it's impossible. It's impossible. I don't know. I said, but he said, and you said, you know what? No. And you didn't want to. You didn't want to hear anything about it. The Gonzalez, that the real Gonzalez, has the real Gonzalez ever been on another radio program? Has the real Gonzalez ever posted something in a public forum? Has the real Gonzalez ever been in contact with anybody out there that says that they've been in contact with Gonzalez?
No, but he has on occasion showed up to various conferences and shaken the hands of different people to try to get kind of a feeling of their vibe, I guess you would say, or and he's been to a few conferences. I can say that much, but that was a while ago.
But right now he's not well. He's ill, right? Or he's recovering?
Oh no, he's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yeah, he's perfectly fine. He's off world with that Mayan breakaway race.
Hiding. Is he?
I guess somewhat hiding. He after I guess I outed him unintentionally through when I was being interrogated. At that point, his cover was blown. They knew who he really was. They had all of his real records from the military, so he couldn't operate on the surface any longer.
Is there a possibility that he could come on this show? Is there a possibility he would do something public in the future?
Maybe in the future. Who knows? I don't know. I've given up trying to predict his behavior.
Are you guys on good terms?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had, we were on the outs, not getting along too well at all after I accidentally outed him. Mm-hmm. He was pretty triggered and unhappy about that for a while. But now he acts very zen. He acts like a totally different person, like he was replaced almost.
What's his, Maria, great timing, Maria, on that question in Twitter. What's his ethnicity? Okay, we have Gonzalez. What's his ethnicity? What does he look like?
He's a Caucasian, Hispanic mix, some of his family came from actual Spain, and the Caucasian mix was from Spain and Caucasian looking, and then with a Hispanic mix.
Interesting. How old is he? I mean, well, that's all relative at this point. But if he was here, at the conferences, how old was he?
He's a little bit younger than me. I don't want to get into too many specific details about him.
Right. All right. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, he's such a for you know what for this community, Gonzalez is the mystery man. I mean, just completely out and everybody wants to know. When he called into the show that night, you know, Twitter and my email and everything just lit up. It was just everybody was so happy. And
whoever that was got a big kick out of their prank.
Well, now this is the other part of that, though, isn't it? Could be a prank. It could be somebody that actually believes that they are Gonzalez. Could there be something that is in play there, where there could be some, mind games being played? And I don't want to be negative, but I'm not trying to make light of this. But it could be something.
That happens. I mean, I get probably 10 emails a week from people that are convinced that they're God. You know, so a few people being convinced that they're Gonzalez isn't a major stretch of the imagination for me.
Right. And what about another Corey Goode? What about another Corey Goode coming forward? Somebody else from the program? Do you anticipate something like that? Not necessarily to walk lockstep with you and to vindicate you and to verify, but somebody else that would come forward or be allowed to come forward or asked to come forward like yourself to do this. Is there a possibility of that?
Definitely, and I've been waiting for it. Right around the time that William Tompkins came out with his book, Selected by Extraterrestrials, I was being told that there were about a half a dozen whistleblower-type people that were being groomed and were waiting for their orders to, come forward. And I had been expecting them to come forward. Nothing's happened yet. So, I do expect more people to come forward.
Well, why is that, Corey?
Why is what?
Why aren't they? Why do you think they haven't come forward?
I don't know. I thought that maybe some of them were not coming forward because of the major attacks that were occurring, because of different things that were happening in the ufology field. But, I don't know. It just seems like they have not been given a green light for some reason.
Has somebody approached you that hasn't come forward from the program?
Oh, yeah. I've talked to a number of people that will never come forward that were part of various aspects of the secret space program that I've described. People that are retired. There was a person that I've been calling Bones. That's kind of the code name for him. That's he was a surgeon in one of the military branches, and he actually served on this moon base that I had described, that trapezoid-shaped base. That
Right.
So he actually served there. I talked with him for a while, found out more information. He will never come forward. He will never come forward. So there are a number of people like that have reached out to me that, gave enough information that matched where I knew they were telling the truth.
That's interesting. And so you are, I can only imagine how much stuff that you're sitting on that only you know that isn't going to come out because it doesn't have to or whatever. But when you are talking to somebody like this surgeon, and he mentioned something very, very specific, that, and it could be the craziest thing. There is pink light switch covers, whatever it is.
Exactly.
And,
that's the kind of thing. Yes.
Right. And does that freak you out? I mean, does it freak you out? Because it lets you know that you're not crazy. That's what it does. Or
when I'm talking to the people and they ping a few details that are right on that couldn't be made up, I get a nervous feeling in the pit of my stomach.
Right. It's got to happen to you. It just must twist up. Does part of you... Okay, I'm going to ask you really quick. Can I get you to hang on for 10 minutes after this next break? Because I want to come back and talk about Antarctica. I can't let you leave without discussing Antarctica. You want to hang on for 10 more minutes? All right.
10 minutes, I think I can swing.
Okay, thank you, Corey. You the man. Back to this. Do you ever, in the back of your mind, kind of wish you could change things and maybe hope that maybe this is all a dream, that maybe it isn't real, that would that make you happier if this was all just implanted memories?
To be honest, some of the things that I happen to know about the interstellar slave trade that are going on, it would be nice if it was all a dream. Yes. Some of the dark things that have been going on, that just the things that the powers that be have done to keep the secret, the crimes against humanity. I wish all of that was just a dream or just an implant. But it's not, and it's just something that we're all going to have to confront.
Do you think that in the end, whether that's 5 years, 10 years from now, as this revelation of everything starts to unfold, that we're going to be okay? That that it's okay. We're going to get smarter. We're going to get nicer. We're going to get kinder and gentler, and we're going to spin this planet around. Do you think that it's going to be okay?
I do, but it has to go beyond us thinking and sitting back and waiting for that to happen. It's something that we're going to have to actively participate in. Getting to that ultimate or optimal temporal reality. To reach that point, it's going to take all of us trying to reach that point. If we can't just sit back and wait for certain beings to come to change things, or wait for the government to make an announcement. The change has to start with each of us deciding that we're going to make the change.
Do you think it's possible? 60 seconds, and then we'll go to a break. Do you think it's possible to organize a demonstration? Right, like get to the pools in Washington D.C. at the footsteps of the Lincoln Memorial and light it up.
Of course we can, but the question is, will the media cover it, and how will they cover it?
Yeah, that's interesting. Don't you think it's inevitable though that we've got to get to that point?
Well, that's we. A lot of us are working together. The Full Disclosure Now project, there are a lot of different things that we're working on, and organized demonstrations is definitely going to be one of them.
I can only imagine if you went full force, we'll take a break right here, but if you went full force and organized that you could get 100,000 people in Washington. I don't know about 1 million. I don't know if there'd be 1 million alien march going on. But I could see that. I could see that, Corey. All right, let's take a break right here. When we come back, for the audience, we'll talk some Antarctica with Corey Goode. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black.
You are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
So you went to dinner last night, you had your favorite pasta. Ugh. Or maybe you had a heavy, spicy meal and it left you. Ugh. Get to Tea.com. Maybe you mowed down a huge steak and your plumbing is all plugged. Ugh. Get to Tea.com. Our super strength tea will take care of your occasional. Ugh. It's all organic and non-GMO. Get rid of We have so many great supplements, but our Super Tea is #1. GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com.
Levels of Power. Fact or fiction? Author Mike Gilmore brings political thrillers aligned with the latest news stories direct from our nation's capital. Immigration and border security. High tension in Southeast Asia. A Supreme Court nomination. Follow Senator Randy Fisher through the halls of power as he confronts the issues that affect our everyday lives. Fast-paced political thrillers. Levels of Power. Discover more at michaelgilmore1.com or amazon.com. Get hooked today.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hard shell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRAradio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Corey Goode. Very special presentation tonight, right before Contact in the Desert. Corey's going to be speaking out there a few times, and I think I'll jump on stage and introduce Corey at least once if he'll let me. I think that's kind of the plan here. But Corey, I wanted to, and thank you for hanging out for a little bit of overtime, and also. Twitter is completely on fire. We don't have enough time to get to all of these excellent questions, but I'm going to try to squeeze a couple of these in. Before we get to Antarctica, there is one question. When did you have, and this is from Carolina, she says, when did you have your first physical feeling linked to have been on the 20 and back, and what was it?
What was it again?
What was your first physical feeling that you were on the 20 and back? Your back, what was your first indication physically that this had happened to you?
Well, there are a lot of things that I looked back on that would have been indications, but I didn't really start to realize what was going on until I started having dreams and flashbacks. And once I started having dreams and flashbacks, then the next thing that occurred was that segments of memories started just dropping on me, and they wouldn't be contiguous.
Right.
They wouldn't be associated with each other. So I'd have all these memories from like different time periods with nothing in between. And then I would sit there and try to put things together, and then I would have a little breakthrough. I'd be like, oh, okay, this memory, okay, I think I know where this is coming from. And then more would fall. And then it became to a point to where the avalanches of memories got bigger and bigger until very shortly, a matter of weeks, I had just about all of the memories back.
And with and then we'll get to Antarctica. With the council, when you're out as a representative, what's their take and position on free will? And free will must be honored.
Well, I mean, that is the cosmic law. That's why, you know, a lot of the abductions that are occurring, these ETs, they're abducting themselves, basically. They're groups of them have incarnated as humans and then given their permission for themselves to be, you know, abducted as a part of their own experiment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Would you go, if 60 Minutes or CNN came to you and said, okay, we want to have a sit down, would you do it?
I would.
Okay.
I think I would.
All right. Interesting. Let it all hang out. All right. What's
but something? I don't think something like that will happen until more information comes out that corroborates what I've been saying. It would have to be something like that would have to occur before I think anyone on that level would ask me to come on their show.
Yeah. I get that. All right. What's the update on Antarctica? What's going on?
Well, you know, after I released one of my recent updates and disclosed the information about the Antarctic Area 51 that's going on down there, the Lockheed Martin and some of their subsidiary companies were reverse engineering, ancient alien technology, and were having areas to where they were doing cloning and pharmaceutical research, all in these bases that were built under the ice. And during this occurred during the late 50s and 60s that they made these under ice research facilities. And one of the things that has freaked out the powers that be about this information being released is that in 1959 a treaty was signed that no weapons development would occur on that continent. It would be for peaceful reasons, only type of research. Well, the cabal has definitely broken that agreement, and this information that came out about not only these research facilities, but this spaceport that we took over that was controlled by the Nazis for a long period of time. That spaceport is one of the major spaceports that we're using for our launch vehicles to go up to these secret space stations that we have. So when this information came out, the hammer came down pretty heavy on those who gave me the information.
How so? What happened?
Sigmund has disappeared. Sigmund is the Air Force bigwig that had in recent months been given me information. He's the one that gave me the information about the Antarctic Area 51. Very soon after that information was released, he disappeared. The two people that work for him came and asked me, when's the last time you heard from him? And, they're trying to find out where he is. So it was a pretty costly leak that he did, but he said that that information coming out about Antarctica could help grease the skids, I guess, for more information to come out.
And you did. We spoke about this on Coast. I think we did it on Faded Black too as well. You did take a trip down, and you were shown some of the I guess you can call it archaeology, some of the digging that was going on there. When you referred to that, I wanted to go back and ask you: were you there in person, or was this? Was this an astral body, out-of-body experience, or were you actually physically there looking at the dig?
Yes, I was actually physically there. I'm working with some people right now because of some different projects that we're filming. We're trying to get me direct access to, I guess, some of the Russian facilities down there, and I've been asking if I can videotape even just a little bit of something down there that is from the ancient alien time period, and I'm trying to get that going through alliance sources. So at the same time, I'm being told that no one is going to be able to release physical proof of everything that's being found in Antarctica until they're ready, because they've had major researchers down there studying all of this, making documentaries and videos, and they were promised that they were going to break it. They were going to sit at a table in front of cameras and be the ones to be allowed to break the story, since they've been doing secret research for well over a decade.
Well, how would you travel down there? Would you fly to Australia and jump on a boat and do it regular? I guess regular is the word.
Yeah, that's the way that I would make it down to the Russian research facility. It would be through Russian transport.
And would you have to pay for that? I mean, what do you do? Do you buy tickets?
Yes.
How does that happen?
I don't have all the logistics about it yet. That's just something that's I found a way down there. But yes, it's definitely you're going to have to pay your own way down.
Right.
There is the aspect also, if an American citizen wants to go down there, you have to get permission from the State Department.
Right, of course.
So there are different hoops that we'll have to jump through that I've researched out, and we're looking into it. Hopefully that's going to work out.
Well, thank you for the phone call. Thank you for the conversation tonight, Corey. And we'll see you I just can't believe it, we'll see you in 2 days out at Contact in the Desert. I really look forward to it. Safe travels out to Contact, and then, of course, safe travels back home, too, as well. But we'll see you in a couple of days. And, of course, you'll be on Fade to Black again briefly this Friday night, live from Contact in the Desert, you and David.
Looking forward.
Thank you so much, Corey. Be safe, man, and we'll see you out there. And again, I'll buy the drinks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you so much. Corey Goode. What a conversation. Now, without recapping, I'm going to take a quick break right here. So let's do that. I need to take a breath, and then we'll be right back after this short break. And a little recap, and I've also got some more breaking news here that has got to get mentioned here tonight on the show. Thank you so much, Corey. Again, as promised, very open-ended and direct conversation with Mr. Corey Goode. Come on out to Contact in the Desert and hang out with us. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. I'll be right back.
Listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. Let's wind the clocks back 60 years. Food was different. Food provided health and nutrition, and using supplements was minimal. Unfortunately, now we have chemicals, GMOs, herbicides, and pesticides that can be quite lethal in the name of our food supply and, of course, the ever-loving dollar. Supplementing our diets can be very important to stay healthy. Cleansing from daily intruders to the body might be critical. Live strong and take charge. Log on to getthetea.com. Our herbal tea is a great way to cleanse from intruders. Our supplements is a great way to maintain and improve your health. When your health is not up to par, go to getthetea.com. No GMOs, no fillers, and organic, and very helpful in keeping you at the top of your game. Life is too short to feel, you know what I mean. Stay in the game, at the top of your game with getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Again, getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletzky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fader-Knots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right. Thank you, Corey. Corey Goode. Doesn't get more open of a conversation than that. I want to thank you, Corey, right now on behalf of the audience. That was really cool. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple of days out of contact and your presentations out there. So there you go. All right, thank you. All right. Man, no time for phone calls tonight. Tomorrow night we will be doing Fader Night, so I want to just remind everybody. Tomorrow night, open lines all night long. Going to have a few friends stop by to say hello, and let's just party on Garth tomorrow night on Fader Night. John Rappaport will not be with us tomorrow night because he has another speaking engagement that he is doing, and there you go. So, where am I with all of these thoughts? All right, great conversation with Corey. Some things that, with all of this that just need to be said, man. You just got to be upfront and not only with the questions, but with the answers. And there you go, man. Corey's cool. All right. Like I've always said, and we said tonight on this show, everything gets put on the table from everybody. We'll figure it all out on our own. And that's it. And Corey is a piece of that puzzle. All right? All right. Now, some of the news. I've got just a little bit of time here, and I've got to get some of this in. Some of the news that you know absolutely nothing about. The Ukrainians in the Ukraine. Right? Ukrainians are in the Ukraine. But Ukrainians have been venting their anger after the government decided to ban Russian social media networks and other popular online services. The move by Kiev potentially impacts the lives of millions. Now, listen to this. Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko signed a decree earlier today, to expand economic sanctions against individuals and companies which Kiev sees as a threat to national security. Now listen to this. And just be thankful you live here. We're not quite there yet. Among the 468 organizations targeted are popular Russian social networks, online services, antivirus producers, and a popular business software suite. The decision will affect millions of Ukrainians. For instance, the newly banned social network site, it's called, Vkontakte. It's Vkontakte, is used by 15 million Ukrainians daily. And this is according to similar web traffic site, and you can go and look at it. And another service that was blocked has 5.4 million daily users in the Ukraine. Both networks are more commonly used than their competitor, Facebook, on the Ukrainian market. Blocked. Just imagine if Twitter was blocked here, or Facebook was blocked here, or Instagram was blocked here. Think about that. It's amazing. Now, this story broke today with potentially, oh man, this could be one of the biggest news stories of the decade. Seth Rich, a Democratic National Committee, the DNC staffer, who was murdered last year, was in contact with WikiLeaks. Now, this is according to multiple sources. Rich's family have branded the claims as unsubstantiated. However, Rich was shot on July 10th, almost a year ago, in Washington, D.C., in what was reported as a robbery. However, his wallet, his phone, his keys, his watch, and a $2,000 necklace were not taken. Rich remained conscious during the attack but died in the hospital 2 hours later. An anonymous federal investigator has now said that he has reviewed the FBI forensic report, which showed that Rich had been in contact with WikiLeaks director and investigative journalist Gavin McFadden. Now, the investigator said that 44,053 emails and 17,761 attachments from January 2015 to May 2016 were sent from Rich to McFadden before May 21st. These figures are the exact same ones as those published on WikiLeaks. McFadden died of lung cancer in October 2016. WikiLeaks published more than 19,000 emails from DNC emails on July 22nd, leaking the rest later. Now, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has not said Rich was its source, but WikiLeaks, meanwhile, offered a $20,000 reward for information leading to the conviction of Rich's murderer. That is potentially about as explosive as it gets. More on this as it unfolds. It is about to get bizarre. If the FBI docs and those reports get leaked and they confirm this, man, oh man. I don't even know where that's going to lead. Think about that for a second. Now, one of the most remote places, an uninhabited coral atoll, is also one of the world's most polluted. It's called Henderson Island. It's a tiny landmass in the eastern South Pacific and has been found by marine scientists to have the highest density of debris recorded anywhere in the world, with 99.8% of the pollution made of plastic. Nearly 18 tons of plastic is piling up on an island that is otherwise mostly untouched by humans, and it's pointing to evidence of a catastrophic and grotesque extent of marine plastic pollution. Listen to me. Nearly 39 million pieces of plastic have been estimated to be on Henderson by researchers of the University of Tasmania and the UK's Royal Society for Protection of Birds, weighing a combined, are you listening, 17.6 tons. Do you know how many plastic bottles you have with 17.6 tons? Well, I just told you, 38 million pieces of plastic. The majority of the debris, approximately 68%, was not even visible, with as many as 4,500 items per square meter buried in the sand. About 13,000 new items were washing up on its shores daily. What can we, and when will we do something about this? We've all heard the rumors about man-made islands of plastic that are floating around in our oceans. But this is crazy, and why isn't anybody doing anything about it? That's on one island, and if it's happening there, it's happening in other places, but it's also floating. Think about that for a second. It just messes with my head. Unbelievable. Now, other news. Who is behind that huge global cyber attack that has happened over the last week? Well, one prominent theory right now, yes, you guessed it, is North Korea. But what we know is far from conclusive, but just hear me out. You may not have heard of the Lazarus Group. Well, I've talked about it here on the show, as certainly going back as far as the Sony attack. But you may be aware of its work. The devastating hack on Sony Pictures back in 2014 that we talked about on this show, and on another Bangladeshi bank in 2016, which I talked about on this program, have both been attributed to the highly sophisticated group Lazarus. It is widely believed that the Lazarus Group worked out of China, but on the behalf of the North Koreans. Security experts are now cautiously linking the Lazarus Group to the latest attack after the discovery by Google security researcher Neil Mehta. He found similarities between code found within WannaCry, right, the malware that infected, over 100 countries around the world. I didn't get to Disney. Maybe if I've got time, I'll get to it. The software used in that hack. Well, attributing cyber attacks can be notoriously difficult, often relying on a consensus rather than confirmation. For example, North Korea has never admitted any involvement in the Sony Pictures hack. And while security researchers in the United States government have confidence in the theory, neither can rule out the possibility of it being a false flag. Skilled hackers may have simply made it look like it had origins in North Korea by using similar techniques. And in the case of WannaCry, it is possible that the hackers simply copied the code from earlier attacks and pasted it into the Lazarus Group to make it look like it was done by them. And with that, concludes another episode of Fade to Black. I want to thank Corey Goode for coming in tonight. Just a great, open-ended, perfect conversation, as it should be. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Paul Marti.